You ready to talk about Mike Clevinger?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
So, Major League Baseball has completed their investigation into the Mike Clevinger domestic violence case. For those of you that don't remember, Mike Clevinger was alleged to have violated Major League Baseball's domestic violence and whatever else policies. There's like a huge name for the joint something policies. It's all about domestic stuff. And I should have the name off the top of my head, but I don't right now, so forgive me. But in January, the allegations came out, and Major League Baseball has been conducting their own investigation since then. And they have now come to the conclusion that, quote, more than 15 individuals, in addition to Mr. Clevinger and the complainant, as well as a review of available documents such as thousands of electronic communications and records, end quote, have been sorted through, and they have determined that there's not going to be any disciplinary action against Mike Clevinger.
Right. There will, though, however, what was it? They said that, gosh, what was it? They said that he agreed to some kind of counseling or something like that.
And
he agreed to submit to the evaluations of the joint treatment boards under the collectively bargained policies to comply with any board's recommendations. So it sounds like there might be some kind of therapy going on.
Right. It sounds like it. It also, there are some statements that say that his family, or that they continue to receive family support in the wake of this. And all of that sounds to me like fluffed up language for, like you're saying, like treatment.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome. Let me just get it out there. I don't want to be ambiguous about this at all. We talked about it with Marcell Ozuna. Marcell Ozuna deserved to have arms wrapped around him and people there backing him up, and that's not what he got.
Right.
He was just vilified the whole time. And this, if there really is no fault for Mike Clevinger, and all evidence that we have available to us says that there's probably not, or at least not enough to discipline.
Right.
That's what they're saying.
That's what it feels like. Yeah.
Then the right answer, to me, the only answer is to wrap their arms around him and get him the help he needs, if there's help required. I don't know. All I'm saying is, this, to me, I have to look at this and juxtapose it against other cases. And one of the cases that you brought up, Brad, is the Trevor Bauer case. So on the one hand, we have Marcell Ozuna. On the other hand, we have Trevor Bauer. And then we have this entirely new situation going on with Mike Clevinger. They're coming down in a new way. Because Trevor Bauer is still not signed anywhere. And he was acquitted of all civil charges and allegations have been wiped away. And MLB found nothing worth disciplining him over as well.
Well, they punished him for 2 years. They suspended him for 2 years. But then, was it an arbitrator who said, no, you can't do that? He's reinstated immediately.
Yeah. So I'm totally confused. This is further confusing me about Trevor Bauer's situation.
Right. Yeah, because they didn't even say anything about him needing to receive any kind of treatment, therapy, anything like that. Like, they didn't even allude to it like they have with Clevinger. Nope. Like, it's so weird. And
yep.
And maybe what it is because there were. This is the only thing I can think of, Brig, and I'm thinking of this just now.
Okay.
Maybe because Trevor Bauer was never convicted of a crime, and the arbitrator had said, you cannot suspend Trevor Bauer for this, for being whatever it was he was being. I don't know that I can necessarily use family-friendly words for that.
Sure.
But you can't suspend him for that.
Yeah.
So now there's a precedent set, and they come with Mike Clevinger, and they say there are no charges. He was never convicted of a crime, any of that. And now, like, well, okay, we can't suspend Mike Clevinger because of that, but we can say, do you need help of some kind? Because it seems like there was a problem. Like, when I read the article, it said that I guess there were accusations on social media about throwing tobacco on a baby and throwing an iPad at a
Yeah.
pregnant woman and using illegal drugs. So I'm sure somewhere in there, they're like, let us get you some help so this doesn't happen again or anything like it. So you don't
It's
get in
not.
trouble
It's
again.
totally plausible.
So
Totally
that
plausible.
if you are convicted of a crime, so that if it did escalate and you were convicted, then we would have to punish you. Let's prevent that. I wonder if that's what it is, but I don't
Yeah.
know. That's what I'm thinking now. Is
But
that the president was set, so they can't.
but if in the case of Ozuna, there's illegal substances and whatever laws being broken, but nobody was harmed. Is that the funky line we're trying to draw here?
I don't know because
Nobody
I
was
still.
offended by
This
it.
is the thing, though, is that I feel like you have to see, like we talked about it before with Ozuna. Like you have to see stuff like that and be like, the dude needs some help. Like it
Yeah,
sounds like the Marlins knew there was a problem with Jose Fernandez before he died in the boat crash,
yeah.
but they didn't do anything about it. Either they were trying to, or they just decided it wasn't time yet, or what.
And
But
what do we know? I don't
right,
know.
like we weren't there, and I don't think that David Sampson has talked that much about that situation in particular. You know,
I
because
don't
I was
know.
listening to a show today, and he did specifically say that we knew about problems off the field. We chose to turn the other way because of the talent,
Ah,
right? And
ah.
but the problem is though, is that like you can't go the other way with Ozuna and be like, well, we know there's a problem, but we don't want to help him because we don't necessarily want him around
You can't do
because the
that.
talent level isn't there. Like you can't do that
That's
either.
culpability in my book.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that's what the Braves did, but it's kind of what it feels
No,
like.
but if that is the case, then that's wrong, I think.
Right. Yeah. That's what it feels
Anyway,
like on my end though. But anyway.
I understand needing to take cases situation by situation, literally case by case basis. And I support that. I don't think there should be blanket arbitration laid down or blanket discipline laid down in cases like this, because that's why you have investigative committees and stuff like that, right? Like,
Yeah.
let's make sure we understand what's going on. So we are armchair quarterbacking this a little bit, and I only bring it up to raise questions. And the first question is, aren't we glad that this seems to be a far more supportive situation than we've seen in the past? That's my
Yes.
very first thing. To me, that's the most important thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Because
I'm
I
really
mean
glad.
like Trevor Bauer is a pariah in the league now. We've seen other guys go the same direction with a similar situation, and it seems like they're more likely to, like you said, wrap their arms around him, get him the help he needs if that's the case. But anyway, yeah, no, I think you're
Yeah.
right with that.